The school has always been known as a place of learning for children in this present age. In fact, the first-generation parent trusts and depends on the school for more than just the teaching of their children, but for their protection and sometimes training. All these ideologies were questioned on the 18th of December, 2021, when young Hanifa Abubakar was brutally murdered by none other than the proprietor of the very school she attended, Abdulmalik Tanko. 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar had been attending Noble Kids Academy, a private Islamic school located somewhere in Kwanar Dakota, Nasarawa, Kano State, since she was a baby. She had her kindergarten there and even her nursery, and now primary school education in that school. The little girl knew the faces of her teachers, classmates' parents, and even the proprietor of the school very well, and was not a stranger to all of them, as she saw them virtually every day in school. So she never felt it odd when the school's proprietor, Abdulmalik Tanko, told her to follow him to his house after school hours on the 2nd of December, 2021, saying that her parents had promised to pick her up there, instead of having her continue to wait for them to pick her up at the gate after school hours. At this time, the school premises were almost empty, and very few people were left in school. So little Hanifa agreed to wait at his house for her parents instead of waiting for her parents at the school gate alone. Abdulmalik took her to his home, which was a few distances away from the school, around Tudun Muratala area, Nasarawa, Kano State, Nigeria. When he got home, he told his surprised wife that Hanifa was the daughter of a friend who traveled and asked her to stay with him till he came back. Hanifa felt confused as she didn't know when her parents and the proprietor became so close, but she didn't bother much and stayed in their home obediently under the care of Abdulmalik's wife. Little did the two of them know that Hanifa had been kidnapped. At this same time, Hanifa's parents had arrived at the school to pick up their first and only child and found that she was not there, at the usual waiting spot, just outside the school gate where they always found her. They were not so worried, as she could still be playing in the school playground with the other children whose parents were not there yet. On getting inside the school, however, they were told that Hanifa was no longer in school and had gone home long ago. The shocked parents rushed back home as they wondered which of their family friends could have picked up and taken their daughter back home, as the school was one frequented by not just their daughter, but the children of many family and friends who also came to pick up their children after school. On getting home, however, they didn't find their daughter and felt a little panicked. At this moment, they began to call family and friends, only to realize that Hanifa was not in the home of anyone they knew. Feeling it was very odd, they contacted the class teacher of Hanifa and asked if she had seen or taken Hanifa home, but got an "I didn't" response in reply. Their heart fell into their throat, and they began to panic as it dawned on them that their daughter might have gone missing. But at this time, they never thought she had been kidnapped. They rushed back to the school hysterically, calling the proprietor and other teachers while demanding to know who had seen their daughter. But no one had seen Hanifa, nor had they seen her leave the premises with any stranger. Instead, everyone asked why they had taken so long to come pick up their child at school. Her devastated parents wept and cried their eyes out, but still got no information about their only child and daughter's whereabouts. They called all their friends and relatives again to help them ask their children if anyone had seen Hanifa leave, but no one had seen Hanifa leave with anyone. It was as if she suddenly disappeared after school hours. By the next day, her parents received calls and consolation from friends and family who came over to ask if Hanifa had been found, but she was still nowhere to be found. Surprisingly, Abdulmalik, the proprietor of her school,
was one of those who had come to console the grieving parents while assuring them that she would be found soon, as she might have just taken a wrong turn and got lost. Eyewitnesses testified that he had consoled the worried parents while weeping and crying, blaming himself for not being able to care for all his students as he should, and not believing that something like this could happen to a student of his school. On the 4th of December, 2021, exactly 2 days after Hanifa went missing, her parents receive a call from this same Abdulmalik, asking for a ransom of number 6 million in exchange for Hanifa's release. Her parents were shocked as it finally dawned on them that their daughter was kidnapped. They immediately called her family and friends to start gathering the amount needed for her release, not knowing that one of the people who were informed had, in turn, informed the police, who took up the case and assured them that investigation would be done. But before they could get the money asked for or the police got more leads, something shocking would happen that would change the course of the entire case. Abdulmalik found out that Hanifa recognized and knew who he was. On the 18th of December, 2021, Hanifa, who had not seen her parents for over 2 weeks, asked Abdul Malik when her parents would be coming to pick her up. It was only at this time that Abdul Malik realized that the 5-year-old child who he had kidnapped and termed ignorant knew who was and possibly followed him home because she knew who he was. When he made this discovery, Abdul Malik determined that he could not let Hanifa go back home to her parents even if the ransom was paid, as he would be exposed. Concluding, he made some tea and poured it into an empty container of bobo yogurt, a yogurt-based milk drink popular among the children of Nasarawa, Kano State, then mixed it with a popular potent rat poison chemical. He then dressed up and picked up the still sleeping Hanifa, who he took out while telling his wife that he was returning her to her parents. Hanifa woke up at this time and felt happy, as she thought she would be reuniting with her parents again. Little did she know that she would never see them again. Abdul Malik told her that he wanted to pick up something from one of their schools first before they went to her parents, and she happily agreed. But as they did, Abdul Malik gave her the poisoned tea to drink, which the little girl accepted with joy. She took it and died shortly after. Seeing that she was dead, Abdul Malik took her lifeless body to another of his schools, Northwest Preparatory School, located in Kwanar Yen, Ghana, Nasarawa, Kano State, where he put her lifeless body in a sack and buried her in a shallow grave with the help of Isaiah Kahashim, who he promised a particular percentage. All this was unknown to the police, who had started closing in on him as the suspect, and her parents, who were still being pressured by him to get the ransom or their daughter would be sold. When her parents finally got the money he asked for, the police found and arrested him along with his accomplices Isaiah Kahashim and Fatima Jibril, from whom a shocking discovery was made. Mr. Abdul Malik had been planning to kidnap Hanifa for a very long time, and had set the stage for a kidnap once, but that plan unknowingly failed, but made the second attempt easier to carry out. These two were arrested as accomplices, and Hanifa's body was finally found, only she was no longer alive, breaking the hearts of her parents. The case became popular in early January, as many were shocked at the brutality of the man who was supposed to be Hanifa's proprietor. The suspects were arraigned to court, and Abdul Malik was given a death sentence for the murder of the young and beautiful Hanifa, while his accomplice, Hashim, was given a similar sentence. Jibril, on the other hand, was given a 2-year imprisonment. On the 24th of January, despite the shutdown of all of Abdul Malik's schools, the angry youths of the town set fire and burnt down his school in the middle of the night, all in justice for Hanifa Abubakar, who was brutally murdered by him.